Good evening, everybody. Thank you so much for joining me here at the First Alert Desk. My name's Karli Barnett, and we want to give you a look at some of the stories that we've been working on today and some of the things that you can tune in for a little bit later tonight. Quick programming note, you can join us tonight at 10 on Peachtree TV and 11 on CBS. In just a few minutes, we're going to get to First Alert meteorologist Cutter Martin. He's going to give you a breakdown of what the rest of your weekend looks like. Unfortunately, it may not be the sunny Sunday that we are hoping would be in store, so you're going to want to stay tuned for him. You can ask him your weather questions here in just a minute, but in the meantime, I did want to give you a look at some of the stories that we are following right now. We are actually following some breaking news here into the Atlanta News First newsroom. We're trying to gather more information on this, but we do know that 2 people have been shot in Atlanta. This is according to Atlanta police. Officers are investigating on Middleton Road Northwest. We are told that both victims are alert, conscious, and breathing. At this point, this is all we know right now. The circumstances of this shooting are still unclear. We don't know the identities of those involved or what led up to this, but we do know that 2 people have been shot in Atlanta on Middleton Road Northwest. We are told at this point that both victims are conscious and alert. We are hoping to advance this story and get you more information. We have a photographer that's headed to the scene right now, and we'll have an update for you later on tonight. Of course, on our website, atlantanewsfirst.com as well, and our app. Another piece of breaking news that we are following, I'm actually going to pull up here my Twitter page. I had tweeted about this because we've received news from Hall County Fire Rescue that they are on scene of a house fire right now. Details still very limited, but Hall County Fire Rescue, they did provide us with this photo. We'll see if I can make this a little bit bigger for you all. But at this point, we are not sure if there are any injuries or what may have caused this fire, but we do know that it is currently taking place. There we go, more of a full screen view for you. This coming to us from Hall County Fire Rescue. Still no word on what may have caused this, if there were any injuries, if there was anybody inside at the time. We know it appears to be a residential fire, but we are working on gathering those details right now. We've been in talks with Hall County Fire Rescue. They say that they're on the scene right now and they are working to get us an update as quickly as they can. And that's something, we do these First Alert desk hits, give you all kind of a little bit of a behind the scenes look, and this is part of the process, is reaching out to these officials and learning what's taking place, and we're sort of at the mercy of when they're able to get an update as they are actively on the scene, actively fighting this fire. So again, this is another thing that we hope to have updated for you tonight if you join us on Atlanta News First, or of course through our app or atlantanewsfirst.com. And speaking of atlantanewsfirst.com, I want to take you to our top story on our website right now. Our reporter Bridget Spencer is in Henry County for just a really sad story that we have to share with you tonight. And this is the loss of an 8-year-old child who was just trying to get on the school bus. We have learned that child has died after a driver struck the child with their car. I'm going to pull up our website for you right here. Let me get that going for you guys. Sorry. All right. All right, there we go. See if I can scroll down a bit there. But if you go to atlantanewsfirst.com, and that's the same thing for all of these stories. If you'd like more in-depth information, you can always go there. You can always join through our app. But as you can see, right in the middle there, that is this story about an 8-year-old fatally struck. And here's what we know at this point tonight. Again, our reporter Bridget Spencer on the scene, gathering details. But we have learned the latest information is that this child has died. An 8-year-old who was hit by a car boarding a school bus in Henry County has died, and that is according to Georgia State Patrol. The girl, who has not been identified, was struck on Thursday by a Ford Fusion on Jackson Lake Road. She was flown to Eggleston Children's Hospital in Atlanta in critical condition. At the time of the accident, the bus did have its stop sign and red flashing lights activated, according to GSP. Kaylee Andre, who was 25 years old, was arrested and booked into the Henry County Jail. She faces charges tonight of first-degree homicide by vehicle, failure to stop for a school bus loading and unloading, and failure to exercise due care. So this accident happening on Thursday, we've learned the tragic update today that the child did not survive. And now Kaylee Andre, she has had charges added due to the loss of this child. Bridget Spencer is in Henry County tonight talking about this very difficult story. Certainly never the type of news or the type of update that we like to deliver in these situations. All right, let's take you back out live now to our next story that we were covering all of yesterday. If you were joining us on Atlanta News First, you know that this was taking place. And if you're in DeKalb County, heads up, because if you didn't hear it yesterday, you know now that there is a boil water advisory in effect after a water main break. Now, they have said that this is done in an abundance of caution, but as of now, as of tonight, that boil water advisory has not been lifted. And maybe you've seen it. I'm going to play this video for you now. It looks like a river in DeKalb County. Look at all of that rushing water. That boil water notice in effect for parts of DeKalb County after this water main break flooded McClendon Drive. Part of the road was closed all day yesterday as crews were working to repair the break itself and the street. Businesses in that area were disrupted by the plumbing issues. The water main break causing flooding, school closures, power outages, low water pressure, and now that cautionary boil water advisory is in place. DeKalb County officials saying that it's not mandatory, but again, this is just out of an abundance of caution. And businesses that we were speaking to, of course, hoping everything goes back to normal. Our reporter Madeline Montgomery speaking to businesses out there that, coffee shop, for example, that had to miss their morning rush. Obviously, that's the most important time for a coffee shop. A barber shop as well, certainly impacted. The DeKalb County Watershed Department has not given a timeline for when that advisory will be lifted. But just before this first alert desk hit, I went on their website, and the latest information is still what we knew from last night. So at this point, all of this is still in effect, and out of an abundance of caution, they are urging you to use either water bottles or boiling water for at least a full minute, bringing it to a rolling boil before you drink it, or before you brush your teeth with it, or before you cook with it, or wash any food with it. Let's see. Bring you back out here live now. So heads up, if you live in DeKalb County, again, if you didn't know it at this point, that is in effect. We will be sure to let you know once that advisory is lifted. If you go to AtlantaNewsFirst.com, maybe we'll have some good news for you by later tonight. But again, they haven't given us a timeline on that yet. Of course, they want to make sure that they send that water off for testing to make sure it is safe to drink, that it's safe to consume before they proceed further. So this is out of an abundance of caution, but certainly something to keep in mind if you live in DeKalb County. We do have some different news out of DeKalb County, a little bit better news for you here. There was a food distribution that took place, and this is for the start of Black History Month. And DeKalb County does these food distributions at different times throughout the year, but we've got some video for you about one that took place today. So it was a drive-through food distribution. And the DeKalb County government, they partnered with some local faith leaders as well as community groups to celebrate Black history. They distributed 5,000 boxes of Georgia-grown fruits and veggies, as well as chicken, and they went to various different places all around the county. I'm just going to name a few of those here. Plaza Fiesta on Buford Highway, St. Philip AME Church on Candler Road, New Birth Missionary Baptist Church on Woodrow Road, Shai Temple CME Church at Wesley Chapel Road, all different places around the county, whether it was in Decatur or Stone Mountain or Atlanta, just giving away thousands of boxes of food. Incredible how they have formed different community partnerships with faith leaders. They say they're utilizing Federal American Rescue Plan funds to purchase the produce and the chicken. And in addition to the churches, they've partnered with the Chamblee Coalition for Homelessness. And how awesome is this? Since May of 2020, DeKalb County has distributed approximately 144,700 boxes of food. Yeah, that's a lot of good that they're spreading. So, wanted to certainly end on a positive note of some good that we are seeing in our community. Of course, we always love to tell you about the good news more than anything else. Now, let's go ahead and take a look outside because I don't know if you're going to necessarily think of this as good news, but we do have some rain in store for our Sunday. And to tell us more about it, we're going to send things over to First Alert Meteorologist Cutter Martin. So, some rain, some wind. We
And
had a pretty
cold.
nice day today, Cutter. I mean, a
Yeah.
little chilly, but all things considered, a beautiful day for our Saturday.
Yeah, a lot of folks got outside and enjoy it. And, Carly, you were talking about breaking news earlier up in Hall County, that home fire. We did get some new news in. Thankfully, no one seriously injured. Just one person was treated for a minor injury. We believe smoke inhalation there on scene. But just to follow up to some breaking news out of the northeast side, Hall County, that Karli was just talking about. And hopefully that we can get those folks back on their feet here shortly. It looks like the home is pretty much a total loss, as Karli was showing you and was telling you. But also, as Karli was showing and telling you, we do have big changes on the way. First alert in effect for tomorrow on into Monday morning. It is going to be a very kind of chilly, gloomy, rainy, windy, any description you have sort of Sunday in the First Alert forecast. In fact, we're going to go ahead and bring you to First Alert radar right now. You can already see that strong area of low pressure. I mean, look at this system. Look at that spin. You can see that area of low pressure right about there, forcing big snows in Denver, severe weather in Texas, tornadoes yesterday, some more showers developing in coastal Texas, and then, of course, here comes our big batch of moisture, widespread rain, chilly temperatures, and occasionally gusty winds. Back to the First Alert forecast. Again, want to thank you for tuning in. If you're watching on Roku, Amazon Fire, AtlantaNewsFirst.com. Maybe you're watching in the First Alert weather app, the Atlanta News First app. Thank you for tuning in. I'm First Alert Meteorologist Cutter Martin here to give you a full check of the First Alert forecast. And again, if you have any weather questions, comments, concerns, just want to remind you that you can head on over to YouTube. Atlanta News First is the account that we're streaming on right now. Ask your weather questions. I'll be monitoring the feed, and I will be answering those as they come in. A fairly high confidence forecast tomorrow in the general picture, though there is still some uncertainty in the exact specifics tomorrow, and we'll talk about why it's such a complicated setup here. But first, want to go through the fact that it's a nice evening out there. It's cool. It's breezy. We had that breeze earlier today. And we're not losing the wind this evening. Again, hour-by-hour forecast. Temperatures will continue to cool. I wouldn't say tumble. They're cooling at kind of a moderate rate here, with temperatures back in the, that is actually tomorrow morning's forecast. So let's bring you back to this evening. There we go. There's the correct outlook. Hour-by-hour forecast here. Temperatures back into the lower 50s and eventually upper 40s. Already a few clouds moving in. And notice how winds actually increase tonight into tomorrow morning. Sustained at 8 p.m. right about now. 10 to midnight, sustained at 14 at 6, 7, and 8 o'clock tomorrow morning. So already kind of gusty out the door, cloudy out the door, and chilly out the door with temperatures in the low to mid 30s in Metro Atlanta, or low to mid 40s rather in Metro Atlanta. Probably some upper 30s up in the mountains up far north and northeast Georgia. Excuse me. But you also notice out the door tomorrow morning, yes, it's cloudy, it's gloomy, it's going to look like it's raining or about to rain, but there won't be much in the way of actual rain falling for any morning plans tomorrow before, say, 10 a.m. in the city of Atlanta. Where that might be a different story is on the far southwest side of town, the first to see rain tomorrow. That is the area that will also see the highest rain totals, but also the earliest onset of wet weather tomorrow. Hour-by-hour forecast, again, running through this evening, overnight tonight. We cloud over. Temperatures cool back into the 30s up in the mountains, low to mid 40s around the metro. We wake up to that cloudy sky, gusty breezes. By 9 a.m., a few sprinkles possible, but still mostly dry, I think, by 9 a.m. As we get into late morning and early afternoon, first alert. Rain is going to become widespread, and it will become steady. If you live in Roanoke, Alabama, Wedowee, Alabama, up into Cleburne County, Anniston, Alabama area, these areas, as well as Troop Hurd and Carroll counties, on the other side of the state line, they will be the first to get rain, probably before noon, maybe as you're walking out of church, as you're heading to do your first errand of your Sunday, as you're cleaning up inside or trying to get some outdoor chores done. That is when rain will increase between maybe 9, 10, 11 a.m., well southwest of the city of Atlanta, just kind of starting to pick up a bit as we get into the noon hour in the city of Atlanta, according to this forecast model. Again, this is just one run of one model. Simply one tool in the toolbox that we use here and the First Alert Weather Center and beyond to put together your first alert forecast. So it's not set in stone that it'll start raining at your house in the city of Atlanta exactly at noon, but just a general idea. Noon to 2 is when we really expect rain to start to pick up across the city of Atlanta. Notice by 3 p.m. it is widespread. Excuse me, I have a little cough tonight. Widespread rain along into the south and west of I-75. Covington on down to Eatonton. If you're spending the weekend on Lake St. Clair and Oconee, temperatures in the upper 40s to near 50, with rain falling middle of the afternoon tomorrow. And what this particular map doesn't show you, but what we will talk about is the fact that winds will be pretty gusty across the area tomorrow. We're going to be dealing with steady rain, temperatures in the 40s, as you can see. 43 in Griffin at 3 p.m., 43 in Dallas, one of those weird days where Blue Ridge, LJ, Calhoun may actually be warmer than the city of Atlanta. Now, keep in mind, mountain communities warmer because clouds are a little thinner up there, maybe even a peak or two of sunshine. Also, you're drier through the day, and I do think that most of our mountain communities, look as we go through the afternoon and evening, Clayton up in Rabun County, Clay County, North Carolina, you may not get much rain out of this. It could be a very steady, kind of miserable sort of rain across the city of Atlanta. But to the north, LJ, Fannin County, Lumpkin County, Dahlonega, Clayton, up into White Towns County, and Habersham County, Toccoa area. These areas may miss out on the vast majority of the rain on Sunday. So this is not in quite 100% coverage rain for the entire North Georgia area. It is for the metro, it is for the city of Atlanta, but the further north you go, the drier it will be through this rain event. You can see rain really struggles to make it up into the north and northeast Georgia mountains through the day tomorrow. Here we are midnight Monday, lower 40s. Still breezy to windy, still wet, so a very gloomy, chilly, cold Sunday evening into early Monday morning. We'll keep that first alert going into your Monday morning commute. I think rain is certainly winding down, but still some moisture, still some scattered showers, and still the possibility of wet roadways for those that are commuting Monday morning. So I think Sunday afternoon plans going to be impacted. Sunday evening plans will be impacted outside of the North Georgia mountains in particular. And then Monday morning commute could be slowed just a bit. It's not looking like a terrible commute. It will dry out through the day Monday, and we will see it drier, eventually clearer and warmer conditions in the first alert forecast. Again, first alert Sunday with building rain. Monday, scattered showers in the morning, a wet morning commute for some. And then we're drying out, probably back to sunshine before sunset Monday. Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, drier days and more sunshine Tuesday, Wednesday. Clouds roll back in Thursday, and then it does look like the gloom begins to return as we get into Friday and on into Saturday. So certainly we get a break from the gloom, but tomorrow's looking pretty nasty. So make sure that you do this evening enjoy the dry weather. If you have any last-minute errands you need to do, I know it's 8:24 on a Saturday night, but if you're having to go, if your choices are basically this evening, go to the grocery store, tomorrow afternoon, go to the grocery store, I suggest you go now, go this evening. Because who wants to carry groceries in the 40s with winds gusting to 40 with rain falling steadily, right? So this is your pick time to get those last-minute chores done. And then the rain moves in tomorrow, and it's not going to be an all-out washout all day. In fact, some of our north and northeast Georgia communities, mountain communities, as mentioned, they will miss out on the significant rain. But just a heads up, if you live in the city of Atlanta, a first alert. If you live on the south side, the southwest side, Lake St. Clair and Oconee, there will be a likely chance of rain. There is a likely chance of rain as early as maybe noon or so. Now, as we go into Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, notice how we warm back up just a bit. Mornings colder, afternoons near 60. Again, it's a clearer weather pattern. That allows temperatures to drop more at night and then warm a little bit more, in this case, during the day. And then the clouds come back Thursday, a chance of scattered rain Friday and Saturday back in the forecast. We're going to be watching that scenario. Next weekend's forecast a little bit up in the air. Pardon the pun, there's quite a bit of uncertainty with the pattern. It may not be an all-out washout next weekend. Right now, just scattered showers in the forecast Friday and Saturday with a relatively low impact to any plans, but that could change. It's just a tricky scenario. It's possible models could swing a bit between now and then, but right now, okay. Of course, if it does look like that your plans are more likely to be impacted, we will let you know right here. We will give you the first alert. ANF Plus streaming multiple times a day with your latest first alert forecast. You can also catch that forecast at AtlantaNewsFirst.com and in the First Alert weather app. In fact, you probably just got, or will in a few moments, a push alert, a video update from myself. Recorded it just a bit ago in the First Alert weather app, updating on tomorrow's chance of rain. And a reminder, if you have any weather questions, comments, concerns, you can reach out to me on social media. Cutter Martin on Facebook, Twitter, X, Threads, Instagram, all the platforms there to answer your questions. Doesn't look like we have too many questions coming in. In fact, no new questions on YouTube. Still a few folks watching. Again, if you have any weather questions, comments, concerns, so you can navigate over to me on social media. The rest of the First Alert Weather team as well. Ella Dorsey, Rodney Harris, Patrick Pete, Courtney Jacobazi, Fred Campagna, and Jennifer Valdez, all here to keep you updated. And as you can see in that First Alert 7-day forecast, it's the front end of the forecast. It's going to be grossest, so to speak, stuck in the 40s, widespread rain and windy weather building in tomorrow. The further north and northeast you live, the drier you will be. I think the only communities that kind of escape the vast majority of the rain will be our north and northeast Georgia mountain communities. The rest of us, it will be raining. Widespread steady rain by tomorrow afternoon into early evening. And again, we will be keeping you updated. Want to remind you, new check of the forecast, some fresh data in by this time as well. Coming up here in just a little bit on Atlanta News First on Peachtree TV, which will start at 10 p.m. on Peachtree TV, Atlanta's CW affiliate. And then we're back on WANF, Atlanta News First, for the late news. Wishing you a wonderful rest of your evening. Stay dry, get out there, enjoy it. Rain is back in the forecast tomorrow.